Very difficult decision to leave the children.
And at 9:50, meet athlete Jamie Bolsh and his mum. Having it all. From 8:10 tomorrow on BBC Two.
This is BBC Two. Fancy an argument?
As a good row, a big blazing bust-up where you can get everything off your chest? Or is it better for everyone to stay calm, keep cool and avoid arguments? Do you remember the explosive rows captured on camera in the famous Adelphi Hotel in Liverpool? We have manager Eileen Downey with us, with Brian Birchall, her deputy, and David Smith, the head chef. And we'll be talking to couples who split because they couldn't row, families who constantly row, neighbours who've learned not to row, and who knows whether the whole thing will end in tears here in the studio. But first of all, let's meet the team who became instant stars when their hotel was the subject of a major documentary. Who could fail to be gripped by the shouting matches like these?
I've got a hot plate that I don't give up.
You're not. You're not
it
ready.
just looks terrible me walking in when the customers
You're
are
not
there.
ready there.
I can have it all ready. I can have it all ready. That's all there. You've got to be there, haven't you?
Yeah, I know, because they're not cooked.
It just saves me going in with that all covered up.
They're not cooked.
He said you were cooked.
Said they're not.
He said he was just waiting for the pasta.
Ah, I could have just said they're not.
He just didn't know that he said it was. He was just pasta.
Would have been in, yeah.
Just get these in the steam, will you?
Good morning.
No, the chef's tense, I'm not. Yeah, see what I mean? It's kicking off again. Just cook, will ya? Just cook.
Do you big quib.
I don't know why I do this every sodding time. Butter off, get over that. I want these two side areas clean, please. Look at me. Time after time after time. I'm sick. I'm like a parrot.
Hotel manager was supposed to be serene and calm and poised, and you go off like a firecracker.
Well, that's not what the customer sees, obviously. But you only get that moment. You don't know how many times I'd ask for those things to be moved. And if I'd have gone on saying, could you move this? Can you move this? Can you move this? I mean, that's very boring television. So they've picked
now,
out
I don't
the
believe for one
bits.
moment that was put on for the camera, because I think that you are you're energised. In fact, I think you energise your hotel with this sort of explosion of sparks every now and again.
Well, it's a big building, it's a big hotel. And you just do, you know, you go. And it's very, very busy. And yes, we row, we shout.
Never.
Never, Brian? Never?
No.
Well, tell me about this relationship you have with David. I mean, it seems to be...
Well, I've not got a relationship with him.
David, tell me about this relationship you have with Brian. Now, that is obviously what you might call creative tension, is it?
I think it is, possibly, yeah. I think you've got to express yourself, and swearing, he does a lot of swearing at me, doesn't he?
The other way around. I can argue without swearing.
It's a case of expressing yourself. There's no harm in what we say. We've got a job to do, and it's not always. I'm not always shouting at Brian. It's just me letting off steam, really, and it just so happens that he's come into view.
Would you have a nicer life if it was quieter and tamer? Would you?
Well, no, because I've
enjoy
been in the kitchens for 30-odd years, and I mean, no matter whether it's the Adelphi in Liverpool or the Dorchester on Park Lane, it happens in every kitchen.
Now look, David is not the only chef I've heard of that uses the occasional
Bad word.
Bad word. I mean, I've heard that this does go on a lot in the kitchen. Why is this?
Because I think invariably you're working with plonkers. No, that's another word. And these expletives are really only words, aren't they? I can use the vernacular if I wish, but at the end of the day, it doesn't have the same impact as a few of these nice choice words.
And what are you trying to do? Make them move faster? What are you trying?
Yes, you're trying to key them up, aren't you? Because I don't know whether you've ever seen Brian, but he walks like a sloth.
This one?
The kitchen, like anywhere else, it's the hub, isn't it? It's the hub. It's the hub.
You mean...
It is the engine room.
It's the most important place in that hotel.
Well, I think it is.
And if the
I think
plumbing
some
waiters
might disagree.
let you down, if
Are
they...
you interrupting with me?
Yes, just momentarily, because we're in a television...
Sure, okay.
All right. Well, yes, you see...
You see, that's another area, isn't
Go
it?
on.
Because it's my kitchen, it's my domain. So therefore, I have to do what I have to do in that particular area.
What's the worst thing he's ever called you?
Oh.
It's daytime TV, isn't it?
No.
So it's that bad, is it? And does he answer back? Does he call you
Oh,
wicked things?
quite, yes, quite, yeah. And perhaps they're even worse words than I use.
He does?
Me?
Now, tell me, you've had one or two marriages, David?
Yes, I have been known to have been married a few times.
You've had 3 marriages, I'm told,
yes.
right? Now, do you think that this is because of something to do with attention? Do you have rows at home?
I think anybody, if you ask anybody in the audience, if you're talking about people who say they don't have arguments at home, they're very, very few and far between. I think it's all part and parcel of people's developments in life, whereby you have a Barney. I call them Barneys. I mean, I can have a Barney and sometimes become very upsetting. But I think it's up to the individuals afterwards, like us. I mean, I've had more do's with my beloved leader there than Soft Mick. I've threatened to throw her in the oven and roast her and everything. But she's still my gaffer.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, we've still got a job to do.
I'm just wondering if you go home at the end of the day, exhausted by all this temperament of yours.
No, you're exhausted by the nature of the work, not by the arguments that have gone on.
Right.
No.
And do you have rows at home?
Well, I have been known to have a good
So you
Barney
are a
now
sort
and
of
again.
fiery person.
Yes, I suppose I am.
Come and meet these people. For example, Sherry here. Now, hi. How do you feel about rows at home?
They're good, they're clear, they are.
You like them? Mm-hmm. And this gentleman used to be your husband?
Used to be.
For 13 years?
Unfortunately.
Right.
I broke 2 mirrors.
What went wrong with this marriage?
He wouldn't argue back.
How hard did you try and make him argue?
I've thrown things at him when he sat there and he shakes his head. You sat there and you're screaming, you're ranting, and he's like, So then he's got up and he's walked out, so the tables followed him, the lamps followed him, the glasses followed him.
Why did you want to have this row so much?
Because there was things that needed to be said that he wouldn't discuss.
Yes.
And the only way of getting it builds to such a case, you just want to scream because you don't feel he's taking any notice of you.
Did you know this was going on?
Oh,
So did you do it on purpose?
most of the time, yeah.
I mean, couldn't you just have occasionally answered her back?
Well, not really, because I'm not one of these people that likes arguing. I just like going one side and out the other.
Did you threaten to leave him?
Numerous occasions.
What did he say then?
There's the door.
No, it's funny, isn't it? Because we're blaming you for being a peace-loving, charming, quiet person. I think we should be not on your side, but there is something in what you say that it is rather. Perhaps it's just that I'm the kind of person that likes a row.
My friend told me to get a pillow and to thump the pillow to take all the frustration out.
Right.
Oh, and it was a feather pillow.
Yes.
And after a couple of thumps, I've got a bedroom full of feathers, I'm full of feathers, the house is full of feathers. 3 days later in the bath, you're thinking, where's that feather come from? You find them all, but he's so aggravating.
Can you understand this, Eileen? What this lady's going through?
Well, I think that causes more trouble than clearing the air. I mean, you know, you say it goes on for days, weeks. You get the clip on the TV, done, finished, over.
This is not the end of the story, is it, Stephen? Because
No,
you have found someone else.
I certainly have.
Shireen,
Yeah, hi.
how do you feel about rows?
I don't like her. I just like to sit down and talk about it. If we can't agree on it, we agree to disagree.
So you two have a very quiet life now.
Yes, totally different from Wild with Cherry.
You still know them?
Yeah. I'm godmother to their daughter, even though we're now divorced.
So you're really friendly with them?
Well, I see more of him now than I did when I lived with him.
Do you ever try and have a row with him now?
There's no point, because there's nothing... Whatever he does now just washes right over my head.
We have a psychologist here, Susan Quilliam, who has written a book called Stop Arguing, Start Talking.
Indeed, yes.
Isn't that rather interesting?
It's extremely interesting, and what we've got is rows as a sign of emotional bonding, emotional closeness. When you're close, as they are, and in fact, as the people from the Adelphi are, you want a row, you want to have this engagement with each other. When you're no longer close, fine, you're not really interested in having a row.
Right, but now Stephen and Shireen, his new partner,
yes,
they have a quite different sort of relationship.
They've worked out a way that works for them of resolving their differences. It's something a bit different because an argument has two parts. It has the emotional bit where you can scream and shout, and it has the communication bit where you communicate what needs to be said and resolve the issue. If you're dealing with the emotion another way, you've got other ways of being emotionally close. You maybe don't need the rows.
You say maybe?
Maybe.
So you think that people very often need rows, but then how do you stop them hurting?
You don't necessarily stop them hurting. For some people, the hurt of a row is a way to actually get close. You really have to love somebody to treat them like dirt and to allow them to treat you like dirt, and it can be quite addictive.
Right, which brings us on to another family. The wonderful thing about the current fashion for documentaries is if you want to know what a real row looks and sounds like, all you have to do is switch on the television. And if you watched Modern Times recently, you might have seen Yvonne Amor and her family and watched some of their fiery moments. For example, when they all set off on holiday.
Yeah, bye. Bye. Oh, turn it off. No. Just wait. Turn it off now. You've broken my nail now. Turn it off. Right off. Turn it off. Bloody problem. You are. Why you will not do as you're told. Now you leave that noise. I do not want to go on holiday.
Shut the gate.
I've got no shoes to set these. I know. Very, very angry. You shouldn't misbehave. It's a simple enough request. Turn the radio off. So I've got no shoes. Well, you're not going to get any now. You made us sufficiently late. We have. I'm not going. I've got no shoes.
Now. That looked a bit of a nightmare, Yvonne, was it?
Yes, it's everyday occurrence in our family.
And that's the way you talk to each other all the time?
No, not all the time, no, but we talk to each other quite often like that. We have a fairly frank interchange of views.
Is it tiring?
No. It's exhilarating.
Is it tiring?
No.
You enjoy it?
Yeah.
She sort of called you, I think, the children from hell. She threatens you with thrashing you, killing you, all that sort of thing. Do you take this seriously?
No, she never does it.
Right. How do you think she feels about you?
I don't really know.
You don't know?
No.
Do you think she loves you?
Yes.
You do? You're sure of that?
Yeah.
So in spite of all these threats, and in spite of saying they're the children from hell, he's quite confident that he's loved. Would it worry you if he wasn't?
Yes, very much.
So how do you express this love? Because when watching the film about you, you're not a great huggy, kissy...
We are sometimes.
Are you?
Yes, yes. I mean, in fact, we actually we like watching the Teletubbies, Richard and I. And he's Poe and I'm Lala. And
who's Tinky Winky around here?
Sophia.
Oh, right. And who are you?
Dipsy.
Dipsy. Now, we didn't see much of this scene in the film, did we?
No, you don't see any of that in the film, I don't think, with us pretending to be the Teletubbies.
So they concentrated more on you, on the rows you had.
Well, that's right. I think the idea was to show a fairly explosive and I hope very entertaining, I certainly found it very amusing, film. And it does highlight, I think, what we actually are like some of the time. You know, I mean, you can't live like that all the time. I mean, you go mad at the end of the week. There are some that would say we were, but, you know, this is what we find it to. I think children should be given a very big framework in which to grow up and to develop. And I think if they can't say what they want to say when they're at home with their own family and sort of, you know, bang off the sides of the sort of the circus ring, if you like, then I don't think there's ever any chance they're going to be allowed to do it outside.
Do you think they'd be happier quieter, or do you think they thrive on all this?
I think at the moment they probably thrive on it.
Yes.
But people do carry their childhood learnings about arguments into relationships when they grow up. And the only thing that concerns me is when those two grow up and form adult relationships, will they have another model to work to? What happens if they pair up with somebody who, like the couple we met earlier, don't want to argue?
You don't row with your husband at all?
No, almost never.
So?
Well, I think in every relationship there's give and take, and in our case he gives and I take, and I think that actually is what happens in marriage, and I'm very fortunate in having found someone who tolerates is too loose a word, but you know, there is sufficient love in our relationship that he will put up with me in the same way as I put up with him, because sometimes he drives me demented because he doesn't argue, you know.
Never mind, you have got enough arguments in your house.
That's quite so, absolutely.
Yes. Is there any moment when you'd like the rows to stop?
No.
You really are prepared for them to go on and on? I mean, I did notice that you would do things like put the radio on loud, just really to annoy your mum, just so that you get some reaction from her.
Yes.
It's very boring if she doesn't respond.
Yes.
You've made a rod, as they say.
I have indeed. But I think they do have a fun childhood. This is very important. They have a good time. They're not repressed. They're allowed to be themselves and to find out who they are. And hopefully in time they'll learn self-discipline, which is very important. You know, and I think then they will find someone that they can spend their lives with when they grow up that actually will be able to respond to them, either the same way as I and my husband do, or maybe they just fight all the time.
Now, you don't go away to school. Would you like to?
No.
Because?
It's boring.
School is boring. Not enough rows.
Yes.
Well, I hope they're watching today. They'll probably fix that. You wanted to say something. Yes, sir.
Yes, it just struck me that the arrangement here seems to work because they've come, I don't know whether they've discussed it or what, but they've come to some sort of agreement that this is the way they want to operate. And it's the same with the quiet couple over there who've got married, and that works because they've got an agreement. Whereas perhaps before, where the previous marriage didn't work, it's because one person wants to row and one person doesn't, and they can't come to an arrangement between themselves as to which medium they're going to actually come to.
But rows are so exhausting, aren't they? I mean, and they make your head up and they make your heart beat faster. Are they good for you?
And they make you het up and they make the heartbeat faster, and for some people that adrenaline rush is the thing they really go for. But even though it can be painful, it also has to be helpful. If you don't get to a point where things are resolved in the end, then it does fester, and after 20 years or 30 years, those are going to be the couples who take a chainsaw to each other.
Now, so you've managed to stop shouting in your household. Tell us about it and why.
Well, I can't claim that we've stopped altogether, but I found myself shouting at the children quite a lot. I've got two boys who are 7 and 10, and towards the end of last year I found that I wasn't sure whether I had a cold or a sore throat from shouting at them all weekend. And I decided that I wanted to shout at them less for my sake, but also for theirs. I don't think they enjoyed it. This wasn't; these weren't creative rows. It was the same row again and again. Not washing their hands before they came to the table, not going to bed when they were told. All the sort of minor things that lively boys do.
Sound familiar?
No, very much so.
But I decided that I wanted to put a stop to it. So instead of me just laying down the law, which wasn't working and would get me annoyed, I drew up a contract.
A real one, written one?
A written one, yeah. I mean, I didn't hire a lawyer for it. But
What, you all sat around a table, the whole family?
yeah. Well, I drew up a draft, and then they could add their own clauses to it.
Does this sound silly?
No.
Sensible?
Yes.
Right, carry on.
And I quite carefully wrote it so that there were as many rules governing my behaviour as theirs, and also the same sort of punishments, fines and that sort of thing.
So you had to promise not to do certain things
Yeah.
and to do certain things, and the kids had to promise equally.
Yes.
And has it worked?
It certainly made a big difference. You can't apply it all the time, but
So what sort of things have you promised not to do?
I've promised not to shout at them.
Yes.
Not to pull their hair.
You pull their hair?
Tweak their ears. Actually, it was the shouting that terrified the children the most. I mean,
Right.
they hated it when I shouted at them.
Did you realise how much they hated it?
Well, yes. I mean, it would escalate until they were in tears. That would be the end of the row. And that's the sort of behaviour that I wanted to get away
this
from.
was serious shouting.
Well, I mean, I think it's probably quite normal. I mean, I know that most families do it, but I just wanted to get away from it.
So
to
how
escape
much
from
do
it.
they fine you if you do it?
It's about a pound a go.
What happens to all the money?
Goes to charity.
So that seems a rather good idea. Do you think a contract would make your life more pleasant?
I don't think it would work at all. It might work for 24 hours, but after that I don't think it would work at all.
Have you ever tried anything like that?
Well, many, many years ago when they were small, I think Charlotte was about 4 and Richard was 2, we had a system which somebody suggested to us of actually star chart, you know, and if they did whatever it was. And for the first of 24...
What, they got a gold star?
That's right,
yeah.
and they had their name on the chart and so on. And we found that after about 24 hours that they were actually peeling off the stars that belonged to each other. They were raiding the jar where the stars were kept and putting them on. And I mean, it was just, you know, I mean, they are terribly sort of spirited, which is one word I could use, I suppose.
So how do you make this stick? How do you stop crimes like that taking place?
Well, I suppose I'm in charge of the money jar. I mean, they're certainly not going to be...
Oh, right. So in the end of the day, the adult has to impose the rules. And you look like somebody who actually quite enjoys the chaos going on around you.
Yes, I don't like the noise sometimes. The noise I do find somewhat trying. Having spent a long time without children, you know, you suddenly get them and they come with a sort of no volume control. And that does something I find wearing. But, you know, I find that they're lively and they're interested in everything and their lives are exciting and it's great.
Well, so far we found people who have survived their rows one way or another. But when the Cumber family and the Stanbridge family fell out, things got very nasty indeed. In fact, it ended in violence. The police were called and they suggested mediation. It all began when the friendship between the two girls, Ruth and Jodie, turned sour, as can happen with teenagers. Let's meet the family. Ruth, hello.
Hi.
So the thing that went wrong was your friendship with Jodie here.
Yeah, well, I heard rumours which Jodie was supposed to be saying, which we now know that she didn't. So I sort of lost my temper.
That is so common, isn't it? It happens with so many young people that gossip is spread which isn't true, and it's really quite hurtful, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what happened in your case? Was it spread to the parents? Is that right, sir?
Me personally?
No, the parents got involved in the row.
Well, yeah, I became involved in the row, really, because I suppose Jodie's dad became involved in the row, which in turn brought me into it.
And so,
it quite honestly reached what you've got to describe as a ridiculous level over a couple of young girls falling out and doing what young girls do.
And as we've said, violence. I mean, you ended up...
Well, it ended up with a full-scale scrap, really. Yeah, it did. It was a ridiculous state of affairs, actually. I could have well done without it, but it happened.
So, enter the mediator. Nicola, were you the mediator?
Yes, I was, one of the two mediators.
So how did you do it? What did you do?
Well, what we did was, first of all, we met the both families independently, listened to what they had to say, and then finally they both agreed to come to a face-to-face meeting, which doesn't always happen. Sometimes one party won't agree to do that.
Weren't you terrified that they'd leap upon each other and bash each other to death?
Well, what we try and do as the mediators is provide a controlled environment with certain ground rules beforehand, that if things do get out of hand, then we do have the opportunity to stop the meeting. But it gives both parties, the first ground rule is that each party has their own uninterrupted time to speak, and that gives them a chance to get off their chest, say what they feel about what's happened, and the other party can hear in a controlled environment what's happened.
It all sounds very peaceful. Was it peaceful? What's the first thing that happened when you got in the room?
I don't know, we all sort of sat there and then we got told like the rules and what we were allowed to say and what we wasn't allowed to say, and then sort of like I said the argument how I saw it, and then Jodie and her mum said like how they thought it was. From there we just sort of like discussed it. And,
did anyone get cross?
Yeah, I suppose so. Okay, there was a bit of bad atmosphere to begin with, but in the long run it was a lot better because me and Jodie had agreed, you know, like to be friends again.
So you're friends now?
Yeah.
That's a very clever achievement. Is that often the case with this sort of mediation?
It works if the people themselves basically want it to work.
What percentage of the cases you?
We find we have about a 56% improvement rate in the cases that we deal with.
So that half the cases, and you presumably deal with people who really are disliking each other so intensely that if it's not you, it's...
Yeah,
you
get differing degrees. Sometimes you can have people falling out over what might appear to other people to be the stupidest of misunderstandings, but to those people it really blows up out of proportion and can lead to quite serious consequences.
Now, you were involved with this on Jodie's side, is that right? Yeah. How do you feel about the way it went?
very well.
Could you have expected it would be resolved in this way?
No, I didn't.
What did you think was going to happen?
I thought that we were going to go down there and come home with exactly the same attitude that everybody had gone with, and that basically it wouldn't do any good at all.
Can you explain how? What worked the magic?
The fact we all had to write down our own feelings, and gradually it narrowed down until it became less and less, and at the end of the day it all seemed pretty pathetic.
So you got it out of your system. You got the anger out of your system.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the mediation worked a treat because we were actually in a situation where there was a couple of teenagers. The violent, angry moment was actually well detached from anything, really. But it was as a net result of the girls falling out. But it worked because the girls actually had the opportunity to sit down and talk together, because afterwards the big problem was going to be that Jodie and Ruth were going to have this ongoing feud, and they see each other, then again with these two gangs of kids, and on it goes, yeah? But the girls actually got to sit down, write down their thoughts, the things that they were annoyed with each other about, and it actually turned out the majority of things they were annoyed with each other about, neither of them had actually done in the first place. And that was the point. At the end of it, they was quite happy, really.
Could you have done it without the mediator?
No, it wouldn't have occurred to me, actually. It wouldn't have occurred to me to actually try and put them together that way, to actually create the situation where the two girls were going to sit down and have a talk. It wouldn't have occurred to me to try doing it.
But for families who haven't got this sort of scheme locally, what can they do if they get into these rows? Because we do know, don't we, that neighbourhood rows of all kinds crop up.
I really don't know. I suppose time. I do believe time would have sorted it out anyway. Yeah, because teenagers don't generally fall out for life, do they? So time would have sorted it out.
You don't agree?
Not the way they were warring at the time, no.
It would have took a lot longer. It would have took a lot longer, and there could have been a lot more feuds in the middle of it.
It seemed never ending.
Can it be resolved without people like you getting in and sorting it out?
Yes, if people have the right mind to know how to deal with the situation. But very often people just cannot actually make the effort, well, not make the effort, know how to speak properly to their neighbour or the person that they've fallen out with.
Particularly if there's a history dispute. Yes, sir?
Yeah, there was a time when there was an absolute war between my family and our neighbour, and I really wish we'd known about mediators then. I mean, we didn't really know anything about it, and it's just like the police would come out every now and then. It was really bordering on violence and things of that kind, but it did eventually calm down. But I really wish, looking at the mediator, I don't know if it's something you have to pay for, but I wish we'd known then.
Do you have to pay for it?
No, it's free.
But perhaps not always available to people.
No, it isn't. We're very lucky where we are in Hastings that we have good funding from the local authority and the police. But there are many areas of the country that don't have any form of mediation.
So what can ordinary people do if they don't have a mediation service? How could that gentleman have sat down with his neighbour or found a way through?
The wonderful thing about the mediation service is it teaches skills, but there are other ways to learn these skills. Yes. And some of the people we've seen here today already have the skills. You can learn them. The skill of getting the emotion out of the way, then communicating, then negotiating.
Now, so you have a different kind of row every now and again. Tell us about the sorts of rows you have.
When I'm going out to the shops or something like that, and you go to a big store or wherever you might be able to go, you've got a problem sometimes with the goods or the service or whatever. So you say to the young lady or the gentleman over there, look, I've got a problem with your service. What can you do to put it right, please? And then they sort of fob you off, and you realise you're not being told the truth. So then you say, well, who's in charge? Who's the general manager? And you get to the general manager, look, I have a problem with the service that you're offering.
How often does this happen in your life?
Continually, because what happens, what I'm actually doing is I'm fighting everybody else's corner, because we as a society, my perception is, will take most things and not complain.
So when you go shopping, you're shopping on behalf of the world, if you like.
That's right. You've got it, Esther.
Anybody who's rude to you is being rude to the world,
in a sense. And my underlying theme is I'm making the company, be it a hotel, be it a leisure centre, I'm actually making them perform better and keep the promise that they've made to the public in general. For
everyone's sake?
Yes.
For example, for your wife's sake?
Yes.
So she comes out with you, proudly, shopping along... Do you?
Not all the time.
Ever?
Well, sometimes, but...
You don't like shopping with them?
We do have these instances nearly every time.
So you're standing there, wishing that you could shrink into the ground?
Yes, sometimes I do.
Why?
Because he really goes to town.
Does he? Yeah. Against what sort of people?
Like Christmas we went away.
Yeah.
We came back from holiday. We had a terrible flight. We were all tired.
3 flights, 21 hours late, a total disaster. Over to you, babe.
Thank you. And we got to Manchester Airport, no luggage. It was on another plane. So he went berserk, stampeding all over the airport. But he was shouting at this receptionist, and she'd got nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? She was just giving out the forms for you to write your complaints on.
So what were you doing?
So we ended up
Yeah.
in the restaurant, sat at different tables, not speaking.
Esther, I've got an excuse to this one. I was jet lagged.
So was everyone else.
Let me just say, with respect, it wasn't just mine. They lost 50 pieces of luggage. They knew when that flight took off, they couldn't keep the promise they made to everybody. But when we all made the phone calls the same night, they sent out a special delivery and we got it, and luckily it was all intact.
So he got the luggage back for you. I mean, no, it was embarrassing. I know the poor little
Oh, he did. He
receptionist
got
couldn't
it back
answer
that
that.
night.
I know you had to have separate meals, but in the end you got your luggage, which you might not have got without him.
I would eventually.
And you wouldn't have mind waiting. If for you it would have been worth waiting if he'd just been a little bit more quiet and...
Well, yes. He does embarrass me, really.
You do embarrass her. But you're not going to stop.
No, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop.
But you must have known about this when you married him, though.
Oh, no. It gets worse, though.
Well, I think everybody here might bear this in mind. It gets worse. Beware, it's not going to get better. But judging from what we've heard so far, although rows lead to wars and lead to divorce and lead to all kinds of problems, they do seem to have their beneficial side. I'm surprised to hear.
It gets the emotion off. It is a strong communication. Sometimes it gets the adrenaline going and gets you through a stressful day. So as long as ultimately it's helpful, yes, have a good row.
Could you run the hotel without the occasional row, Eileen?
No, I don't think we could. I don't think any hotel could run without the occasional row. But it's interesting listening to what people say. You know, the average turnover of staff in a hotel is 42%. The Adelphi's turnover is annually 9%. So maybe it's a thing we do up north and we do very well.
You get hooked on the adrenaline. Brian, do you think you could serve the meals without having these occasional gusts of passion?
No, it's a release valve, isn't it? It just gets rid of all the pressure. You feel better afterward.
David, how would you feel if he left? And
If I left?
If he left, if Brian left.
Oh, I would be elated. Absolutely.
You'd hate the next one.
You'd miss him.
No, I wouldn't, no. It's like having a headache, isn't it? No.
You'd have no one to swear at.
Oh, yes, because another one comes along. It's like a bus. Another one comes along.
Personal thing, Esther.
Yes.
Because he says another one comes. It's not a personal thing. It's David's way of getting the adrenaline pumping and getting on with the job. And none of us take it personally.
It'd be a new challenge for them, wouldn't it?
None of us take it personally.
I do draw your attention to the example you have here in the front row. Because divorces can happen, you know. You have rows with your new partner?
Yeah, because he answers me back.
And you don't mind this?
Not at all. I'd rather get everything out in the open, but it's the making up that's the best bit after.
The making up is even better? Mm-hmm. Right, well, perhaps we better not discuss that in detail. That sounds like a new programme to me. But thank you all very much indeed. We've had a very interesting and rather row-free conversation about ways of making up, contracts, of mediation, and of letting all the emotion out without actually muddling up the whole idea of love, because it seems to me that what is interesting about this family is that in spite of all the noise you all make, there's no doubt that you are entirely united in the way you feel about each other. Thank you so much to all our guests. Thank you at home for joining us. Hope you have a good row tonight. Until next time, from us all, goodbye.
And Esther returns on Monday, meeting blushing and blubbing brides. Some were left at the altar, others jilted their partner at the last minute. That's at 5 to 5. Next this afternoon on BBC Two, Today's the Day.
it about pubs in this country? I mean, like, go in and you ask for ice, it's like asking for moon rock, isn't it?
So here they are, live in concert.
Keep on running. Keep on hiding.
Saturdays on BBC Radio 2. Different every time you listen.
Now on BBC 2, A Date with the Past.
Now the answer to this one lies probably in your